What is so difficult in becoming simple? The difficulty is in being clever, in being cunning. Simpleness is a straightforward behavior. The difficulty is that in the world we have become habituated to cleverness. We discussed that God's eternal law is that one who surrenders to Him receives His grace. We also discussed that this surrender is a state of doing nothing. And by doing nothing, if we receive His infinite grace, then God is causelessly merciful. So, if this is the nature of God, that merely by surrendering to Him, we become the benefactors of His causeless grace, and by virtue of His grace, we receive His divine knowledge, His divine bliss, His divine love. We get released from material bondage. We attain the supreme destination. Then why is it that we have not yet surrendered to God? Infinite lifetimes have passed away. Is it that yesterday, for the first time, we came to know of this law? Is it that in past lifetimes we were not aware of this causeless nature of God and His eternal rule of surrender? That cannot be the case. We have had innumerable lifetimes, and innumerable times we have met saints, and we have read the scriptures, and these saints and scriptures informed us that, look, God is an ocean of grace and mercy. Surrender to Him, and you will receive that mercy. So we cannot say that we were unaware of this law and hence we did not do our Sharanagati. We knew this law, and despite knowing it, we did not surrender to God. Why was that so? There were certain obstacles in that surrender. Certain difficulties we faced in surrendering to God. These difficulties still exist. We need to understand them and overcome them. Unless we understand these, unless we remove these deficiencies in our surrender to the Lord, even today we will not be able to become recipients of that divine grace. So what were these difficulties? What were these obstacles? Primarily, there are 8 problems in surrender. A few of these are called Kapuyacharan. A few of these are called Tushtis. Let us take a look at the Kapuyacharans first. Kapuyacharan means Galat Acharan, defective thought, defective behavior. The first of these. This is called Jiham Bhav. What is Jiham Bhav? Lack of simplicity. In order to surrender to God, one must possess a simple heart. Saral Swabhava Naman Kutilai, the Ramayana states. Nirmal Man Jana So Mohi Pava Mohi Kapata Chala Chidra Bhava. The Lord says, I am not impressed by cleverness, by cunningness, by deceit. I am impressed by a simple, trusting, childlike heart. But the problem is that interacting with this world, we learn to become clever. First, we practice cleverness with our friends and then with our relatives. And when we engage in our profession, we learn cleverness there. A cloth shopkeeper in India was telling me, Swamiji, what to do? My trade is like this. When I open my shop in the morning, I make a resolve, झूठ ही बोलूंगा, झूठ के सिवाय कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. I shall only speak lies. That is the only way I can sell my goods to customers. So all this cleverness that we have learned while dealing with the world, this needs to be thrown away. And we need to go back to the state in which we were born. A simple, trusting child. There is a beautiful story in this regard that is very commonly told by grandmothers in India. There was this Sanatan Dharma Mandir, a temple with many deities of different forms of God. The Panditji had kept an orphan child to help him in the puja. The child would get food to eat and be taken care of, and Panditji would have his assistance in the worship. So it was a win-win situation for both. One day, Panditji had to go for a holy pilgrimage, a Tirth Yatra. So he told the child, look, the way I have been offering to God, you must offer in the same way. And only after God has eaten should you eat the prasad. I will be away for 2 months and I am going to leave rations for 2 months. The child said, all right, Panditji. He was a very trusting child. And when he would accompany Panditji in the puja, he would ask, who is this? Panditji would say, he is Hanuman, he is an avatar of Lord Shiv. So the child would believe it. He would not see that deity as a piece of stone, but see the deity as the Lord himself. So the next day, the child prepared the food items, placed them on the plate, took the plate to the altar, and requested the deities, O Lord, please come and receive this food. Please eat it to your heart's content. Now the deities were unmoved. They had remained still for all these years of worship by Panditji. The child was expecting them to come and eat, because when Panditji used to make the offering, he would have the curtain closed. The child did not know what was going on. He thought maybe they have not liked his cooking. So he took it away, trashed it, prepared another meal, brought it and requested, O Lord, please eat it now. The deities were still not willing. So he started crying. He said, you don't like my cooking. All right, if you are not going to eat, I will also not eat. He went hungry that night. The next day, again, he prepared a meal with his faith and devotion, and he placed it on the altar. and he said, "O Lord, please come and receive this food." The deities were again unwilling to move. So this time the boy picked up a stick. He said, "Look, if you don't eat, Panditji will get annoyed with me and he will dismiss me from this job. I am an orphan. Where will I go? What will I do? You better eat or I will beat you with the stick." Now that stick was a symbol of his faith. His conviction that this is God. That is the kind of faith that comes from a simple heart. That is what God is waiting for. He says, "Pandityam nirvidya balyena tishthaset." I am not impressed by scholasticism. I am impressed by the trusting heart. So when that boy picked up that stick, that "My Lord, you had better eat or I'll whack you with it," what was there for the Lord? He who is all pervading in this world is also present in his deity. So the deity started moving. They reached the plate and they started gobbling up the food. Hanumanji was eating away, so that little offering finished quickly. The boy came, replenished it again. The result was that the rations Panditji had left for 2 months got over in a week. Now what to do? So this orphan child got a big task upon him. He would go to the market and beg from shopkeepers, "Sir, please give me something I need to offer in the temple." Panditji returned in 1 month's time instead of 2 months. He said, "My child, I'm very hungry. Give me something to eat." The boy said, "Panditji, we have got nothing here. I have to go and do bhiksha and then bring it." The Panditji said, "What do you mean? I had left rations for 2 months. It's just 1 month over. There must still be food for 1 month. Did you go and sell it all in the market and see movies with the money?" No, Panditji. How would I ever do something like that? I will not lie to you. What could I do? God used to eat so much, and Hanumanji would keep eating away. Panditji said, "Really? Hanumanji would keep eating away? All right. Offer it in front of me. Let me see how they eat." Now the boy went again, prepared a plate and brought it. He placed it on the altar as before and requested the deities, "Please come and eat." This time the deities were not willing to move. So the boy became annoyed because he would be proved a liar. He picked up his stick once again and said, "Will you eat or not, or I'll whack you with it?" Again the deities started giggling. They came to the plate and started eating. Panditji, seeing this spectacle, was so shocked he fainted there. He thought, "In all my life, in all my worship, I have never even seen the light of God. And look at this little child. God was actually coming and eating from his plate. How fortunate he was." So that is the trusting heart, the simple heart that enables us to win the grace of God right away. Now, the saint Narayan said, "Kapat gant man mein nahi, sabte saral swabhava, Narayanata bhakt ki lagi kinare naam." What is so difficult in becoming simple? The difficulty is in being clever, in being cunning. Simpleness is a straightforward behavior. The difficulty is that in the world we have become habituated to cleverness. And like the tail of the dog, it's crooked no matter how much you pull it. When you release it, again it becomes crooked. Similarly, our habit in the world, when we go in front of God and Guru, we start the same habit there. What should I increase and say? What should I decrease and say? How should I get my work done from the Guru, from God? All this cunningness comes in the way of our surrender. So if we wish to succeed in doing Sharanagati, we need to understand this first obstacle and to get rid of it by developing a simple heart.